Hello everybody and welcome today to today's reaction video. I'm really looking forward to this one because we're going to be reacting to Sex Pistols for the first time ever. And as far as I'm aware, it's probably my first time ever listening to the Sex Pistols. Now, I say that, first time being aware of listening to them. I'm sure I must have been out and about somewhere and their music's played somewhere, but I honestly don't know anything about them. And there's a reason we're reacting to them. Brett, do you want to explain to the audience why we're reacting to Sex Pistols? This was not part of our plan. It came about because of what?
So yeah, being very Lee appeared to be very spontaneous. We've just reacted to an Offspring song called Self-Esteem, and Lee was testing my memory about what t-shirts the lead singer was wearing, identified as a Sex Pistols one, and he went, "Why not go listen to the Sex Pistols?" Because he's heard of them but doesn't know much about them.
Kind of like with Iron Maiden when we reacted to them for the first time. It's the same kind of thing for me. So I know that Sex Pistols are a well-known on the rocky side of things for sure. But yeah, just don't really know anything about them. So what about you, Brett? Then this is your chance to tell everyone what you know about the Sex Pistols.
Again, I might be wrong with some of the stuff here, but for what I know of them, very iconic um, band with their name and kind of their looks. I know the lead singer is called Johnny Rotten, and they famously. So, well, I think it's their only song to actually know theirs. They did not even a cover, but they did "God Save the Queen." Um, they're very sort of what's the word? Is anarchy like the right sort of word?
Uh-huh.
Or something? They're
Uh-huh.
very anti-establishment.
Right.
You probably didn't hear a lot of their stuff because it probably got banned whenever it
Mm.
got played. You know, big and they're very punky, so that's why I
Mm.
imagine the Offspring
Ooh.
guy was wearing his thing. They are more of as far as aware, more punky rather than Iron Maiden rocky. There's definitely something
Mm-hmm.
about them, and I
Yeah.
said very anti-establishment, very 70s,
Mm-hmm.
hard on drugs and rock and roll.
Yeah.
But like I said, apart from God Save the Queen, that's the only song of theirs I know. And even then, I don't think I know it well enough to sing it or quote it apart from maybe one main chorus bit. So I have no idea what song you've are picking for this. But yeah, that's all I can really tell you on that there.
Okay. Well, you don't know what song it is. Okay. The audience do. Everyone knows what we're going to be reacting to. So it's just you that doesn't know, Brett. But you'll find out.
Always the last to know.
Yeah, you'll find out in just a second. Right. Let's have a look. So we are in fact reacting to "God Save the Queen."
It probably is their early time. I don't know.
So yeah, the reason I chose this one is because I was thinking, obviously it's a national anthem, but I thought, is this actually going to be like the national anthem just sung in their sort of way, like in a sort of punky-ish way? So it looks like, from what you said, it probably is. It's a cover of it, you said. So I'm quite looking forward to it. I actually like the national anthem, by the way. I don't know, I quite like the sound of it. Quite a nice national anthem, the British one. Sorry, you're going to say something?
Yeah, as I say, and I did say that. I'm not sure if it is along the lines of sort of covering, but it is meant to be relate. That's why it's called that, because I think it is meant to be along those lines there. So let's see.
Also, did I forget to mention? I can't remember. If you donate to our channel, we will guarantee and prioritize a reaction request for you. All the information can be found down below in the description. So let's get going.
God save the Queen! The fascist regime! It made you a moron! Potential hate bomb!
Jeez Louise, they've certainly made it their own, haven't they? The national anthem. We talk about covers sometimes, don't we? We say, oh, it's kind of similar to kept it to the original. Apart from the chorus, so I can't really, or the whole thing really. Yeah, Brett, do you want to go first then? Tell us how you're finding this.
Yeah, so like I said it's a song I would recognise, but like I said it's only iconic for that sort of chorus bit with the God Save the Queen bit. The rest of it I didn't really probably know too well, but I guess I did. But 'cause, yeah, it's actually not that varied in that sense. Things there. It's weird. Will we get anything like this nowadays? I don't know. Probably not in a way. It's not my cup of tea. There, but I think this comes under the category of other sort of bands or artists or songs we've done where it's a like a timepiece one. It's kind of the moment. If you believed and like this sort of stuff, then listen to it. Like it just has a more nostalgic kind of feel for that rather than coming into it from like our point of view. Yeah, it's and I think it's more of a message song rather than trying to be a. What I'm trying to say is I think is that the deeper meaning is to get a message across rather than trying to get like a top 10, a top number one hit single in the charts, shall we say. I think if they didn't get that, they wouldn't mind so much. It was more, I guess, the message they were coming across. So yeah, not quite. Yeah, I don't know. We still got we're still only the halfway stage, so maybe it could change up a little bit. But yeah, it's more of a British iconic kind of thing rather than a
Yeah.
enjoyable listen for me.
Listen, I'm with you on that one. Yeah, it's not my cup of tea, this particular song. Although, as I said before in the previous video, when we did the Offspring, I do quite like punk, and this is like the real sort of, I suppose, old school like British punk, rather than sort of like that Green Day, Blink 182 stuff that I'm kind of into, which is obviously more modern American. But I would be quite interested to sort of continue listening to them. But yeah, I just think this song doesn't quite do it for me. It's quite interesting though, listening to it and the message that they're putting across. So yeah, it's kind of iconic and from its time. So I'm enjoying it from that perspective, but at the same time, not really enjoying the song itself. If you see what I mean. So kind of similar to you, I guess. Anyway, take it through to the end. Okay, so Brett, what do you want to add?
That actually grew on a little bit for me towards the end there. I mean, there wasn't much different there. I think it just had a different kind of feel to it there. I'd also want to recheck because I did make a point earlier about sort of this type of song not being done sort of nowadays. And just to be clear, like it's funny because actually listening to that by the time they got to the end of it, I think actually the message probably it probably does feel like something like that could be and would be made nowadays. In terms of, like I said, in terms of the message of trying to go. But I think what I was trying to say is in terms of actually an artist or band actually putting something out like that, being trying to be mainstream wouldn't probably happen. But I guess the message probably hasn't changed in the time when that probably came out. Probably people feel the same, if not worse, about the UK. So yeah, it just sort of hit a bit more actually when he came to the end of that song there. But as you said, and sort of said with me earlier, yeah, maybe not an actual cup of tea song to sort of listen to. But it would be interesting what the other stuff is like. 'Cause I think this is a particular anarchy type one. So like I said, it's not trying to be um, an enjoyable listen as such. It's more about getting the message across. It'd be interesting if there is other stuff that is um, not quite like this. Um, and it's just iconic for its time with the message trying to get across, and yeah, sort of enjoy and appreciate it for that sort of period of history, listening to it rather than the actual song itself.
Yeah, I was
Hope
going to
that makes
say, like,
sense.
if they thought the UK was bad in the 70s, geez, can you imagine what they think of it now? And just for note, I left the UK in
That's
2011, and I wouldn't dream of living there again. Been what, 15 years, and it's getting worse and worse by the year. So yeah, but anyway, apart from that, yeah, look, yeah, it was just something about the song. Like I say, sound wise, not really for me, but I still enjoyed it. Like I say, yeah, it was obviously very. Must be a very well known song of its time, and what was the word? Like a kind of protest song, but I'm guessing from the sounds of it, most of their songs are kind of protest songs. Then,
I guess so. Yeah, probably.
yeah. So I enjoyed it in that respect. Just the fact it was we were sort of watching, I don't know, something very iconic. But yeah, just from the sound of it, not really for me. But I'd still be interested to listen to a few more of their songs, some of their other stuff. Probably worth giving it a go. But anyway, that's it from us today. And yeah, subscribe if you haven't, and we'll see you again soon for the next one. Take care. Goodbye.